Welcome to Deep Dive, Moulton Niguel Water District's second community forum and first of 2021. My name is Brian Probalski, and I am the president of the to drink, and we'll discuss how we plan for the future to ensure water reliability and sustainability. Tonight, you'll meet my fellow board members, as well as our general manager, June Lopez, and other key staff members at our district who are dedicated to providing you with safe, clean, reliable, and affordable drinking water, on tap, day or night. We'll provide you a tour of your water's journey from the mountains in Colorado and the high Sierras to you, our customers. Even though we're a public agency, you'll often hear us refer to you specifically as our customers, because at Moulton Niguel Water District, we understand the customers always come first. Communications is a two-way street, and while we want to share with you all the great things that we have going on at Moulton Niguel, we also want to hear from you. We want to answer any questions you might have and listen to your comments or concerns that come to mind. We received some questions prior to today's taping that we'll answer, but you can also type your questions, comments, or suggestions in the comments section either on Facebook or YouTube. We'll be reviewing them, and we'll try to respond to as many as we can during the program, either in the chat box or here live on camera. Now, I'd like to turn things over to one of our board vice presidents, Director Dwayne Cave, who will introduce our next segment of the program, which will explain your water's journey from hundreds of miles away to your tap. Dwayne?
Thank you, President Probalski. I'm Dwayne Cave, and I've been honored to serve on this board since 2014. At Moulton Niguel Water District, we're proud to serve the highest quality, most reliable water available at an affordable cost. But where does this water come from? Would you believe the water you pour starts out as snowflakes in the high Sierras of Northern California or the Colorado Rockies? Tonight, you'll learn from other members of our Moulton Niguel Board of Directors and local water experts about where our water comes from. We'll start with Moulton Niguel Director Bill Moorhead in Mission Viejo, who will open the tap on your water's journey.
Man, that is good water. It really is. Hi, I'm Moulton Niguel Water District Director Bill Moorhead. Before being elected to the board in 2018, I spent my professional career as a water engineer. And as an engineer, my focus at Moulton Niguel is water reliability, infrastructure, maintenance, and system redundancy. You can be assured in our district area that every time you turn on your tap, just like this, your water will be clean, safe, and plentiful. Ask most people where their water comes from, and they'll point to their tap, right here, right? Well, that's where the water journey ends, not where it begins. Our water's journey begins either hundreds of miles away in Northern California, way up in the high Sierras, starting out as a simple frozen snowflake, or it comes to us from far away via the Colorado River.
From there, the melted snow ran through rivers and tributaries to our aqueduct that carries the water from hundreds of miles away to our treatment plants here in Southern California. The State Water Project begins in Northern California and is made up of 34 storage facilities, reservoirs, and lakes, and 700 miles of open canals and pipelines. 50% of that water is dedicated to the homes and businesses in Southern California, including Moulton Niguel Water District customers. The Colorado River has been delivering water to us for more than 70 years. Today, at its full capacity, the Colorado River provides over 1 billion gallons of drinking water daily to Southern California. Much of the imported water from both the State Water Project and the Colorado River Aqueduct flows to the Robert B. Deemer Water Treatment Plant located on a hilltop in Yorba Linda. The facility takes in imported water from both sources and can treat up to 520 million gallons every day. This is the next step on your water's journey And Molten Miguel Water District Director Don Froelich is on site at the plant with more information.
Hello everyone, my name is Don Froelich and I'm Vice President of the Board of Directors of Molten Miguel Water District that provides water to 172,000 people in South Orange County. And this facility at the Deemer Water Treatment Plant is critical in providing the water that you need. I'm especially pleased to be here because most of my career was at the Metropolitan Water District, which is the operators of the Deemer filtration plant. It's also important to recognize how critical that this facility is in meeting the water demands in this area. We're fortunate to have Deemer Water Treatment Plant Unit Manager Trudy Desroches, and she's going to share a lot of information with you. Why is the Deemer Water Treatment Plant so important to Molten Miguel Water District?
Well, thank you, Director Froelich. I'd say that Deemer plant is important because Southern California doesn't have enough local water supply to meet the demands of the public. So Metropolitan imports water from outside Southern California, specifically from the Colorado River and from Northern California in the state project water system. And we bring those supplies down here, and our job at Deemer plant is to treat those two supplies and provide that water to residents of Orange County and Los Angeles County. So this plant meets about half of the demand of the entire Orange County service area and meets all the demand of the Molten Miguel consumers.
Okay, well that's an interesting information, especially for our customers, knowing that they're 100% dependent on that water. The next thing I'd like to ask you is what happens at this facility on a daily basis? It's a huge facility. You probably have a lot of people working here. And tell us about what goes on here.
Well, as I mentioned, our job is to treat those two different imported water supplies and make sure that they meet all of the drinking water regulations. So those two supplies can come to this plant in a 12-foot diameter pipe. We can treat up to 520 million gallons per day. It's a lot of water and hard to kind of picture. 520 million gallons could fill a backyard swimming pool in 1.5 seconds. So very large quantities that we treat at this treatment plant. And when it gets here, our job is to remove any pathogens, anything that would make somebody sick. We either remove it or we kill it. We do both. So you can see behind us, these are the ozone generators that we use to convert oxygen to ozone, and we use it as a disinfectant in the treatment process. That will kill any pathogens that might be in the water. And we filter the water until it meets all of the regulations, and then we store it in a reservoir and serve it to Orange County and Los Angeles County. We can treat, as I mentioned, 520 million gallons per day of water through that process.
Wow, that's a large capacity. Is your treatment process, is it regulated by the federal and state governments?
Absolutely. The federal government sets the standards, and then they allow the state of California to make even more stringent regulations and to enforce those established regulations. And so we have to monitor the water on a routine basis to make sure it meets all of those guidelines and all of those maximum contaminant levels.
Wow, this is such a sophisticated facility. I guess that's what it takes to provide high quality water. And the final question is, tell us something that's the least known by most people about operating a facility like this. They see it on the top of the hill, and do they think it's a water treatment facility or or a conference center.
Well, I think a lot of the locals have a lot of urban legends about what's up here. But I've been working here since 2004, and one of the things I find most interesting is while this plant is very visible from a large part of Orange County, what you don't see is the significant part that works that's you can't see, that's underground. We have tunnels and we have access ways that help us monitor the treatment process and help us transport chemicals or even information from one point to another so that we can always make sure that this plant meets regulations 100% of the time.
We certainly appreciate you taking the time out of your important, busy schedule to allow us to tape this so we can show it to our customers.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Further on our water's journey is a stop at the Baker Water Treatment Plant. It's a 28.1 million gallon per day water treatment facility that's too large for any one district, but through a joint regional partnership between 5 South Orange County water districts, including Moulton-Niguel, the facility provides an efficient way to treat and deliver high-quality water to the Moulton-Niguel service area.
Good evening. I'm Dick Fiore, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Moulton-Niguel Water District. I'm here today at the Baker Water Treatment Plant in Lake Forest, which is not far from the city's City Hall. I'm very pleased to be here today and conduct this interview because in the early 2000s, I was on the Board of Directors at Moulton-Niguel when Moulton-Niguel decided, along with the Irvine Ranch Water District, the Santa Margarita Water District, the Trabuco Canyon Water District, and the El Toro Water District, to partner together to develop an alternative, reliable source of water for South Orange County. Joining me today is Kevin Reidler, who serves as the Water Operations Supervisor of the Baker Water Treatment Plant. Kevin, for my first question, many of our customers and many of the viewers of this interview really don't understand where water really comes from. So I would like you, if you would, to describe for us how the treatment facility here is important to South Orange County customers to ensure that their water supply is continuous, safe, and available.
Yeah, good evening, Dick. I'm glad to be here tonight. So the Baker Water Treatment Plant was partnered with the 5 member agencies like you had mentioned. And really the plant itself was built as a water reliability project for South Orange County customers, in which we take raw untreated water from the Colorado River system, which comes out of Lake Matthews in Corona, and we treat the water to drinking water standards, which goes to the South Orange County customers and the other agencies that you had mentioned.
You mentioned that the purpose of the plant is to treat raw water to provide for some additional water reliability here in South Orange County. How very important is that to Orange County in general and to South Orange County?
It's absolutely important to have safe, reliable drinking water to South Orange County customers. In the event of emergencies, this plant is unique in the fact that we can also treat a local water source, which is Irvine Lake, which is in Santiago Canyon. And in the event that we were unable to treat the water from Lake Matthews, we would be able to pull water in from Irvine Lake and be able to treat that water and be able to get water to Orange County residents.
So Baker Water Treatment Plant actually has more than just 1 or 2 single sources of untreated water to process.
Correct, yeah. We have 2 sources of water, which makes this plant very unique.
On a daily basis, I mean, we're here now in one of the operations facilities. What happens here at the Baker Water Treatment Plant on a daily basis? What's the protocols? What are the processes that you go through?
Yeah, so our daily plant processes, we're taking raw water, like Ed mentioned, and treating it to drinking water. We treat just over 28 million gallons a day, which works out to about 20,000 gallons a minute of treated water. And we use a membrane treatment called microfiltration, which is a porous membrane. The size of the membrane is about 100 times smaller than the width of a human hair. And the raw water is fed in through the bottom of these modules, and it filters through the porous membrane and comes out as filtered water. And then from that point, we use UV disinfection for Giardia, and also our chlorine disinfection for viruses.
Now what you're holding there is a portion of one of the membranes.
Correct. This is a cutout of one of the membranes.
And these back behind here are actually
this membrane,
that
yeah.
membrane.
So the plant has 1,664 of these membranes, in which we can treat about just over 28 million gallons a day of treated water, which serves South Orange County.
And during the day, what do you and your crews do to keep this whole operation and facility working consistently?
So there's many things that we do on a daily basis, including water sampling. We're checking all of our equipment, our pumps. We're processing solids disposal, and we're doing just daily rounds and just all sorts of stuff.
On occasion, do you find yourself coming here after hours and dealing with maybe a failure of one of these membrane facilities on occasion?
Yeah, so the plant is unique in the fact that we do have an on-call person that is monitoring the plant at night. So we're not here at night, we're here during the day. And if there's a critical alarm, then we would come into the plant and come and take care of that issue that's going on.
So some of you are on call 24 hours a day as a practical
Correct.
matter.
Yes, yeah, we're on call 24 hours a day. Yep.
Kevin, there's a lot that we've talked about and a lot more information that we haven't, but what is probably the single most interesting fact about the Baker Water Treatment Plant that our viewers would be interested in knowing that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, what's unique about this plant is there was a treatment plant here originally, and that plant was taken and redesigned and was increased for the production of what the plant could produce. So there was a plant that was here originally that was taken down and redesigned to this new facility.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's how the Baker Water Treatment Plant became known as the Baker Water Treatment Plant, because the prior filtration plant was the Baker Filtration Plant.
Yeah, it was originally the Baker Filtration Plant. Yep.
Kevin, thank you very much for your time today. It's been greatly appreciated. Now let's continue on our water's journey.
Your water flows further south into the Molten-Miguel service area. Let's stop off at the Bridlewood Flow Control Center in Laguna Hills to learn more.
Welcome, I'm Director Diane Rifkin, and I'm here at the Bridlewood Flow Control Facility in Laguna Hills. Many of you have probably driven right by it, but it is so well designed and integrated into the community that you would never know it's a water infrastructure facility. The facility is located at the corner of Oso Parkway and Bridlewood Drive. And also with me today is our Director of Engineering, Rodney Woods, who's going to share more information about this facility with us. Rodney, why is the Bridlewood facility so important to our Molten-Miguel customers?
Thank you for asking that question, Director Ripken. That's a great question. This is a critical facility to the Molten-Miguel Water District. Water is able to be imported into the district. More than half of the water that comes into the district comes through this facility. And this particular facility allows us to move water to 3 different pressure zones. Because it comes in at such a high elevation, it allows us to save on a tremendous amount of pumping costs, which saves the customers quite a bit of money annually.
Rodney, thank you for that information. Let's delve a little deeper. What would our customers find helpful to know about the functions of Bridlewood on a daily basis?
Oh, on a daily basis, Director Ripken, water is imported from our retail wholesaler, and we're able to distribute the water that comes into our system to more than half of our customers through this facility. On a daily basis at this facility, there's not a lot of day-to-day activity that needs to happen, and that's because they have the ability to adjust flows and meet the needs of our customers remotely through our SCADA system.
Rod, thank you so much for that information. Let's do one last question. What would you say is the least known aspect of the Bridlewood facility that would be helpful for our customers to know?
Great question. I can think of a couple different things that are not well known about this facility. Number one, as you mentioned and alluded to in the beginning, it's very hidden. It's got a feel of a residential facility, so you'll drive right by it and you might not even necessarily know that it's here. Number two, because of the high grade that this water is brought into our system, it saves on an annual basis the district's customers about $1 million annually on electrical costs associated with pumping. And then number three, in the event that any of our neighboring agencies have any sort of emergencies necessitating the need to get water from us, we're able to provide that water to them through these nice little spools out here and reverse flow through this facility to supply our neighboring agencies.
Rodney, thank you so much for sharing more about this impressive facility in the Moulton-Niguel Water District. Our customers will benefit by learning more about exactly what's in their backyard and how it benefits all of us.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm happy to do so anytime.
In addition to water reliability, water quality, and water pressure, it's important that we have water storage as well. So for this last stop on Your Water's journey, we're going up to the top of Moulton Peak with Director Sherry Waninger and Assistant General Manager Matt Collings, who will talk about emergency water storage to protect our customers.
Hello, I am Director Sherry Waninger, and I'm up here at the Moulton Peak Reservoir in Aliso Viejo. Not only is this location beautiful, it's home to 2 of our water storage tanks. With me today, I have our Assistant General Manager, Matt Collings, who's going to share some additional information about this site with us. Hi, Matt.
Good afternoon, Director Waninger.
So, what about Moulton Peak Reservoir is important to Moulton-Niguel water customers?
Well, Moulton Peak, like a number of other storage tanks that we have throughout our service area, provides critical storage of water for our customers' demands. The water storage allows for us to meet demands on a daily basis. It also allows for us to provide fire protection storage, as well as emergency storage in case there is any interruption in water supplies.
I'm sure many of our residents were not aware of that. Just to follow up on that, what at Moulton Peak happens on a daily basis, and what water do we store here?
Well, we have 2 storage tanks here at Moulton Peak. We have a 4 million gallon storage tank that stores drinking water for all of our customers. We also have a 1.5 million gallon storage tank that stores recycled water that's used for irrigation purposes throughout the service area. On a daily basis, water will go in and out of the tanks to meet customers' demands. Typically what we see is at night the tanks are filling up, so we take advantage of lower cost energy, and that during the day as customer demands are higher, the tanks are drawing down. Always making sure we keep a minimum amount of storage in there in case there are emergencies that arise.
Thank you. It sounds like we manage these tanks quite well and use many best practices to conserve water and save on energy costs. Just one final question, Matt.
Of course.
What's the least known about Moulton Peak Reservoir that you think our visitors would like to know about?
A couple interesting facts. Moulton Peak site, while you can see it from a lot of places throughout the district service area, it isn't actually the highest tank that we have in our service area. We have one tank that is located higher than this tank. It's not able to be seen by all of our customers because it's actually buried and sits underneath a tennis court in Laguna Niguel. The other interesting fact is the Moulton Peak recycled water tank was the last tank that was actually constructed for storage in the service area. It was constructed about 20 years ago as the recycled water system was expanding. And then I guess the last interesting fact is there are a lot of deer that love to visit this site on a regular basis, sitting right at the edge of the Aliso Wood Canyon Regional Park.
Let's close our brief interview by giving you a look at these amazing views.
Hey, thanks for taking a deep dive with us about our water. I mean, this stuff is so good. I gotta have some more, I really do. Hey, thanks again.
Thank you, Director Moorhead, and all my fellow directors who helped take us through our water's journey. Well, as Director Moorhead indicated, water may fall from the sky, but it takes a lot of planning, engineering, pipes and pumps to get that water safely to your home. Joining us now, Moulton Niguel Water District General Manager June Lopez for a discussion about some of those capital improvement projects that will guide us into the future and ensure that we have a plentiful, affordable, and sustainable water supply for the next generation. June, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
First of all, if you can, give us a basic primer on what a capital improvement project is and why it's important for Moulton Niguel Water District to keep investing in our infrastructure.
So our capital improvement projects and capital improvement plan is really geared towards our planning and managing of our infrastructure. These are all the hardwares that make sure that the water gets to our homes and to our businesses safe and reliably. So it's very important to maintain this infrastructure. And we're 60 years old now as a district, so many of our pipes are old as well. And just like the human body, we need to take care of ourselves more regularly and better as we get older. And that takes planning and that takes dollar investment. Your hard-earned dollars as our ratepayers, that's what we safeguard to make sure it's investing in the right way, to make sure our system keeps running without interruption to the services that you've come to expect. So we do these multi-year forecasts and projections, and we really prioritize what kinds of investment, what kinds of things that we need to do and when, so that we can make sure that we're being very proactive and making sure that we can do our best to avoid issues before they become a problem. And that's where your dollars are important to maintain this critical infrastructure and making sure that we have the reliable system that we've all been accustomed to know.
Looking back over the past 60 years of our district, we've had some very forward-thinking projects that have put us in an enviable position in terms of our water planning projects. What are some of those highlights over the past 60 years that made the biggest difference for us today?
We have many great stories to talk about, but in the time that we do have, I'll just mention a couple. So we've invested a lot of time and effort into our infrastructure. These are the systems, the pipes, the reservoirs that make sure that all of our customers have safe and reliable water. And we've really made some strides in how we manage that system through technology, through data, through the way that we do the financial planning, so that the time that we need the funds to make those kinds of infrastructure investment, those are timed best to make the most out of the dollars of our ratepayers, but also to utilize other revenue sources, our cell tower programs, as well as our investment, and also going for state and federal grants. Those have all been very effective in investing into the system. The other is our reliability effort. As we know, water is very scarce in California and in the world, but especially in California. And we've lived through the most historic drought in our recent history. And so it's important that we plan for this. So we talk about projects that bring new supply, but also how can we stretch the supply that we do have in the most efficient way so that we can have the economic prosperity in our communities. And so we've done a lot in the way of demand management and water efficiency effort, making sure that we work with our customers and external stakeholders and a lot of our even legislators to make sure that from outdoor landscaping to indoor usage, that we do the best that we can to stretch the limited supply that we have. So we have more water available sooner than waiting years for a project that may take longer. So it's a combination of these efforts. And we've been recognized by various state agencies for our efforts, doing some of the most groundbreaking efforts in working with our customer. As a matter of fact, during the most recent historic drought, we were one of 2 agencies that were exempted from a lot of these mandates because of the great things that we were doing. And even after the drought emergency regulations were lifted, we do not see a rebound in our usage. The other is technology and data. Our Advanced Meter Infrastructure Program, which allows a real-time read of the water usage of our customers. And that, coupled with our customer portal, allows our customers to see their water usage in real time rather than waiting a month or 2 for their bills. And it creates that dialogue, that engagement. And it's a way that we've seen that technology can build not only a bridge between us and the customer, but also allows for a greater participation of our customers so that they feel that they're part of the solution solution, and it's been very highly effective. So these are just some of the things that we're doing because it's all centered around people for us. Our board of directors, our staff, our commitment to the people in our community and the broader community of California. That's why we always like to say we're not just in the water business, we're in the people business.
Looking forward now, over the next, say, 10 to 20 years, what are some of the CIP projects or long-term water planning that we're doing to maintain the safety and water reliability for the next generation?
So we continue to build on our asset management program by using better data, using more technology that's out there, always evaluating what is the best and the most effective tools that we can use to better anticipate our system. Because when we went from being reactive to proactive, and now we're going into the new era of predictive. If we could anticipate our system and know trouble before they happen, imagine the greater reliability in service, but also the reduced cost in damages and liabilities. So everybody wins in this scenario, being able to anticipate. And that's the world that we live in today. When you think about all these things that are around us, from Amazon to Netflix, they anticipate what we're going to do. And if we can anticipate that of our system, if we can anticipate that of our customers, now we can match that in an ideal way to make most out of the system and the supply that we have. And that's one of those ways that we are evolving as an agency, and we're setting the example for many of our friends in the industry to take all that we've learned and the success over the years and building on it, continuously improving and stretching to see what else we can do to provide better, higher quality of service to our customers.
Thank you, June. Well, as she said, we're not just in the water business, we're in the people business. And to that end, we want to hear from you. Do you have a question about your water? As a reminder, you can still type questions into the chat box on Facebook or YouTube, and we have folks monitoring those platforms so we can answer as many questions as possible. Some of our customers submitted video questions in advance. Our first question is from Steve Lamont, chairman of the South Orange County Economic Coalition. He wanted to know, how do we collaborate with others throughout the state?
A good amount of our water comes from Northern California. What does Molten Miguel do to collaborate with water leaders from other parts of the state to maintain and improve relations with them?
That's a great question, Steve. You know, the pipes don't begin and end in our district. So since we don't have our own groundwater basin in South Orange County and rely on imported water to meet most of our district needs, it's very important that we keep collaboration with others throughout the state and throughout Orange County. Molten Miguel is very active with statewide groups like the Association of California Water Agencies and California Reuse. We're also active with regional agencies like the Municipal Water District of Orange County and the Orange County Water District. We've also helped form organizations like the California Data Collaborative to encourage information and innovation sharing throughout the state. Joining me to answer questions from the public is our Vice President, Dwayne Cave, and our General Manager, June Lopez.
Thank you, Brian. Our next question comes from the Eco Fricos, an environmental advocacy group at Aliso Niguel High School.
Hi, I'm Eva Jabari, the incoming president of Eco Frico Club here at Aliso Niguel High School, and this is Adele Juvenello, our current president, and we have a question to ask you guys.
We were wondering how Molten Miguel works to help conserve water in the local area and how they're reaching out to youth in working with water conservation projects.
Eva and Adele, thank you for the question, and I want to thank you too for your leadership that you've taken in the roles at the Eco Frico Club at Aliso Niguel High School. At Molten Miguel, we provide our residents and businesses with a large assortment of water efficiency rebates, programs, and services. Did you know that we offer free home saving surveys? We also offer our NatureScape Turf to Native Garden program. We offer leak alerts and the direct installation smart timer program. As you're aware, We also work with a lot of students and teachers to provide education on water through innovative programs like Future Leaders of Water. And we have a partnership with the Orange County Coast Keepers that includes hands-on activities for the students. Now, our final video question is from, or next video question is from Rita Tayanaka, who wants to know how she can tell if her plumbing is in good shape or not.
Hi, this is Rita Tayanaka. I live in Mission Viejo, and we live in homes that were built in the 60s. How do I know if my plumbing to the street or down the street is okay? Do I need to do any testing?
Great question, Rita. If you have a smart meter, you can sign up for leak alerts in the Molten Niguel portal. If you don't have a smart meter, there's a flow finder on the meter register you can use to determine if you have a continual leak. Your water bill is also a good indicator something is amiss at your home as well. If you find that you're going over your water budget, reach out to our water efficiency department and they can help you diagnose the source of high water use. Now, contrary to popular belief, copper does not last forever. Typically 30 to 40 years is the life expectancy. You can keep an eye out for signs of leaks in your sprinkler system by looking for signs of silt being pushed up from underground in your flower beds, or if you find green soggy spots in your lawn. In addition to our video question, we had several customers and members of the public submit questions to us via email when they registered for this program. Let's go to some of those questions and have June respond to them. What factors into hardness of our water, and how does Molten Niguel rank in terms of water hardness compared to other districts in Orange County?
So what causes the hardness in our water is calcium and magnesium, and these elements exist in nature. And as you know, we get our water from Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which provides water to 19 million Californians right here in South Orange County. And they get the water from the Northern California Delta and from the Colorado River, and depending on the blend of those supplies determines the hardness. But in South Orange County, regardless of where you live or who your water provider is, the hardness factor is pretty all consistent throughout South Orange County.
Well, thank you, June. Now, does our water contain traces of prescription medications? And how can we avoid pharmaceuticals from ending up in the water supply? Is there a danger associated with flushing these medications in the toilet?
Well, that's why we tell our customers, please do not flush medication down the toilet. And with that said, Metropolitan Water District, as I just mentioned, that provide us the imported water, they do rigorous testing of water quality and very high level treatment of the water that we get. And once we get that water in our service area, we also test it daily to make sure it's of the highest quality. And so we know that our water is very safe for all the uses that our customers have. And not only do we do this daily, we also communicate with Metropolitan, but every year we do a report called Consumer Confidence Report that goes into all the details of the water quality. And year after year, we're very happy to say that we meet and exceed all state and federal stringent drinking requirements. Now, as technology gets better, we'll be able to find more constituents in water and just even get better in the treatment of our water. But just want to assure our customers that our water is very high quality and we take great pride in that.
Well, thank you, June. Now, we have one more question for you. Now, how can Molten Niguel help if we have a leak in our sprinkler system, maybe in the pipes, in the valves, in the fittings?
Well, unfortunately, we can't go into our customer's property and monitor that and fix that. So, but what we can do is definitely help our customers if they have any questions. So we always encourage our customers to call our very capable team, and we will go out there and we'll do water audits, answer any questions, help them understand what are some of the ways that they can be more efficient in their water use in and out of their home. So we always encourage our customers to give us a call, and I'm sure they'll be very happy with the customer service and the experience that they'll get.
Well, thank you, June. And thank you to all of our customers out here that submitted questions to us that we could answer today. And now at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our board president, Brian Probolski. Brian.
Thank you, Dwayne. Well, that about wraps up today's program. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive on water. If you have any questions that didn't get answered tonight, please feel free to reach out and contact our staff via email, phone, or through social media. On behalf of June, Dwayne, and all of our Board of Directors at Moulton Niguel Water District, thank you for joining us tonight and have a good night.